Welcome back to another episode of Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Captain Steve, and this week we are talking about 2011's SuperShark, directed by legendary director Fred Olen Ray, who's directed such classics like Evil Spawn, Biohazard, and, Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. So, based on that and this poster, which just has Asylum written all over it, I'm expecting some big things from this movie. I'm expecting it to be super. Anyways, just with this director, if you look at his filmography, it's just a lot of very sleazy and exploitation movies. So, I mean, there's that to look forward to. If they're not going to give us a lot of gore, then hey, maybe they'll give us some sleaze. All right. I think that's a fair compromise. Let's get into the Letterboxd plot synopsis. An offshore drilling accident triggers the release of a giant prehistoric shark. When marine biologist Kat Carmichael arrives, she runs up against corporate frontman Roger Wade, who plots with Stewart to disrupt her investigation. With the help of Skipper Chuck and disc jockey Dynamite Stevens, Kat tries to find a way to defeat the monster, which has evolved to a state where it can walk on dry land and fly. It's SuperShark. SuperShark! SuperShark! This has an average rating of 2.3 stars, so it's a little bit on the higher end for one of these kind of movies, I would say. We should see some bikini babes and buff dudes, so hide those boners and nips, and let's dive in. The movie starts off on a beach with a bunch of army dudes and a tank that has 4 legs. It's like a fucking dog tank. Like, this is how we're opening. I'm already excited because it's already fucking ridiculous. I guess they were kind of going for a Star Wars thing with the tank, maybe. That's kind of what it looked like. But like I said, it kind of looks like a dog with a big gun on the front of it, which I'm not saying is terrible. It's pretty fucking great. The shark shows up right away. They do not waste time. Of course, it's CGI. So far, it doesn't look like the poster, because the poster on the shark on the poster looks like really gnarly looking and a little bit more war-torn, I guess, if that makes any sense. So the design is not quite what's on the poster, but the CGI isn't terrible. Like, it's Asylum-level CGI, but when the Asylum tries, kind of like with Three-Headed Shark Attack. I remember in that episode I talked about the CGI looking at least pretty decent for the shark design. So it's very similar to that. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's definitely something I can get on board with. Dog Tank and SuperShark start fighting on the beach, and the shark gets it in the head. Like, their blood spurts out, and then it goes into the title screen, and then we see 1 week earlier. Classic. And guess where we are? Finally not an underwater sea lab, but an old favorite, an oil rig. I think the last time we were on an oil rig was Black Demon, maybe? Oh, nope. Jurassic Shark 2, Aquapocalypse, and we were on an oil rig for that one, too. Always with the oil rigs and underwater sea labs. I can't escape them. Everywhere I go, it's oil rigs, underwater sea labs. It's a nightmare. On this station, we see 2 workers fixing a bunch of just random shit, and then there's interference coming from the radio station that they're listening to, and then the station starts shaking, and then underneath we see SuperShark break free from, like, the ocean floor, I guess, and it starts ramming into the oil rig. As people try to evacuate, the shark grabs a crane, so it breaches the water, grabs a crane, and just pulls the station over. Again, the CGI here, too, is pretty fucking decent. Again, it's B-movie decent. It's not, like, fucking Hollywood level, so don't expect the Meg or any of that shit. But hey, then again, we are super early into this movie. Don't worry, there's going to be a lot more super puns to come. And you know what else is coming? SuperShark! We cut to a news report, and I never looked up the cast before watching this, but John Schneider is in it. He was Clark Kent's dad in Smallville, and probably better known for playing Bo Duke in Dukes of Hazzard, I think. I can't remember which character he was. I watched that show when I was a kid. I understand it's problematic now. I'm just saying I watched it when I was a kid, and this guy was in it. That's all I'm going to say about it. But those, like, he's been in lots of other stuff too, but those are, like, the 2 big things that I think people would probably recognize him from. He's playing Roger Wade, and he's being interviewed about the oil rig accident. So obviously he's the president, or like he just runs this fucking oil rig company or whatever. And he says that he believes there will be little to no ecological harm, and then he basically ends the interview. He's basing this pretty much off of nothing, I'm assuming, because I don't know. He's a corporate CEO douchebag. There's not really much else to say about that. But then we cut to more credits while this amazing song plays. It's like funky 70s shit. I love it. It's like SuperShark, SuperShark. Oh, I'm gonna have to post it on the Instagram because it's just so fucking good. So again, like I'm just loving this movie a little bit more and more. Like the more we get into it, I'm pretty happy so far, guys. This is weird. Let's see if we can keep that consistency going. So as credits play, it's stock footage of bikini babes, buff dudes, and everything in between on the beach. And we hear a radio DJ talk about a big celebration, and he's hosting a bikini contest. So I think I'll be right about some of that sleazy goodness coming our way. Then we're with 3 lifeguards right out of Baywatch. All 3 of them are wearing the red bathing suit, which maybe that's what lifeguards do actually wear. I don't fully fucking know, but it obviously feels like a nod to Baywatch. And Tyler, the female lifeguard who's in charge, is giving Callie and Greg, the other 2 lifeguards, like their orders and assignments for the day. And she's giving Greg shit for showing up late and all that. And then the 2 ladies head off together, and they dish about Greg and just like how cute he is. And then like, oh my god, Greg. Oh, fuck me. After that, we see a couple of divers dive from a boat, and they radio a bikini-clad babe and asks her to get a net ready. So she tosses it in the water and goes back to sunbathing. I feel like these 2 divers were like working or something, and like she's just there. So again, like this is very much like sleazy exploitation. Again, no complaints. I think it's a great style of movie. Again, I know some people might find it problematic, but I don't know. I enjoy it. As long as like nobody was like abused on set or any shit like that, because then I would have like many different feelings about it. But so far, sleazy, good CGI. Come on, what's not to fucking love? So she goes back to sunbathing, as I said, and then we see this giant shark fin swim around this boat. But this woman somehow misses it. I don't know how she didn't see it, because I'm pretty sure her eyes were still open, at least. But I don't know. She misses it. Then the 2 divers spot a nurse shark and go to take a photo with it. And they somehow miss seeing the shark because they saw it out of the corner of their eye. But then it disappeared, according to them, in this crystal clear fucking water. Idiots. So the bikini babe then spots the shark and radios to the divers, but the radio signal is interfered. So this shark is making some sort of electrical waves, which again, I feel like is something we just talked about in another movie recently with the shark. Oh, it was fucking Empire of the Shark, or no, Planet of the Sharks, where the shark was sending out like signals and shit. Same thing. Same fucking thing here. Oh, god damn. So, yeah, they couldn't see this in the crystal clear water. The bikini babe finally spots the shark fin, and she tries to radio down to the divers, but of course the signal is interfered with. So, I mean, this shark is making waves in more ways than one. Okay, I'm sorry. The shark gets the divers, and she sees blood. The shark breaches the water and comes slamming down on the boat. Our first bikini babe death. A moment of silence. Okay, and that's enough of that. Back towards land, Skipper Chuck is resting on his boat when a woman comes to him and asks him if he's the man from the ad, and she shows him some newspaper ad, and he brings her on board. She asks how much to hire the boat, and she wants to go to the oil rig accident site. And she flashes him a badge that says she's Dr. Catherine Carmichael with the Oceanic Investigation Bureau, or OIB for short. I guess you would just say OIB, but I don't know. It would have been fun to come up with something silly. What would have been funny for that? Oceanic. internal boobies. Oceanic internal booby investigation. OIB. Ah, fuck. I don't know where I'm going with this. It has been a long week. Anyways, yeah, so she shows him this badge, and then he says, well, that badge will, like, get you as close as you want. Like, why do you need me? But anyways, they finally agree on a price, and they head out. And then as they do, of course, Catherine takes her top off. She has a bikini top underneath, but and then she just kind of lounges back on the boat. Back with our girly lifeguards, they're still talking about fucking Greg. And Tyler tells Callie they had a thing once, but it's fine. Like, just fuck him or something. It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit, like, who likes who or who slept with who. But if you do care, Tyler, the main lifeguard lady, had a thing with Greg, and now Callie is interested in Greg, and now it's like, oh, can I date him? Oh, it's fine. It's not serious. Yeah, there's that whole thing going on, which doesn't really matter. But does anything really fucking matter? I guess not. The next we get is a lone windsurfer who's just taken out by the shark, and then it swims off. And we don't see much of the kill. Again, it's very much asylum type kills. It's just very quick, boom, done. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're finished with that now, are we? Okay then, moving along. Dr. Carmichael, Dr. Sexy Bikini Lady, meets with Roger Wade and tells him the water around the accident site is loaded with chemicals, and they do this back and forth thing for a while, and then make fucking dinner plans. So, like, yeah, I'll just meet up and have dinner later. So, like, Roger can show how good their environmental record is for the company, and yeah, I'm sure that's all he wants. Greg the lifeguard is busy watching girls' asses until he's done his shift, and meets the girls at the lifeguard tower, and they invite him to Callie's early birthday celebration, and she's beside herself. Like, boy howdy, I'm sure Greg's not going to turn out to be a piece of shit or anything. Nah, that never happens in these movies. Maybe Tyler's a piece of shit. Maybe she's garbage too. I don't know. We're going to have to find out. Back with Dr. Sexy, she meets Mr. Jenkins at the hospital, and he's the lone survivor of the oil rig accident, and asks him some questions. He says they were drilling and hadn't reached oil yet, and she mentions the chemicals, but he pulls back saying he can't talk about it or the company will have his head. It's kind of like what's going on with Boeing right now. It's like that guy that committed suicide, the whistleblower. Yeah, what a fucking coincidence, eh? Anyways, Roger Wade is definitely killing this woman, or at least going to try. She looks back at this lone survivor worker, and she says, well, I'll have your head long before Roger Wade does. He's like, oh, okay. He says they used some chemicals, he wasn't sure what it was, to try and break through some of the rock so they could drill through it faster, I guess. So that's the pollution in the water, because they were being dumb fucks. He then tells her about the shark that pulled the rig over, and she doesn't look like she believes him. And he mentions this is why he didn't tell the head doctors, because they think he's crazy. And then, like, he sarcastically retracts his statement, and then he leaves. After that, we go into the biggest command room in a submarine I have ever fucking seen. And the commander is fucking Bob Vance of Vance Refrigeration from The Office. Yeah, Robert R. Schaefer, I think is the actor's name. So he asks for some music to be played over the PA, and then one of the seamen spots the shark on the radar, and they try to escape it, but the shark follows and starts bumping into the sub. Someone else, another seaman, says there's seismic activity. So this shark makes the earthquake and cut out radio signals. Like, best lover in history. Like, electric, no distractions. Damn. He's a very selfless lover, this little sharky. He's not little at all. He's fucking huge. The commander starts firing torpedoes at the shark, but they miss, and it bites a big hole into the side of the sub, and it sinks. That's all the carnage we get from that. So now we go on a date with Dr. Sexy and Bo Duke. She goes into his kitchen after they've been hanging out on the balcony or something, and after his failed attempts at flirting, she shows him a glass of water she brought back from the accident site. And she does some chemical test and shows him and goes into fucking science jargon. Again, not gonna fucking explain it. Not doing it. And it basically tells him the chemical he used to get through the rock eroded the rig and caused the accident. So she basically drops the mic and leaves, and then Roger calls someone on the phone and tells them to get over there right away. Tyler and Callie wait for Greg at the restaurant, and Greg gives Callie a necklace or something, and then Tyler asks if Greg really has his grandparents' place to himself, and he's like all sensual and like, yeah, and she kind of gives him a sexy look, like, what are you doing? You are here to hook like Callie and Greg up, and you're trying to hook up with fucking Greg. Like, you're like literally doing this right in front of her. Like, oh, fucking bitch. Drama. On the stage, the radio DJ Dynamite Stevens, played by Jimmy J.J. Walker from the TV show Good Times. He's also been in Airplane, and again, a ton of other shit. And he starts announcing the bikini contest. And then one by one, we get bikini babes on the stage, shaking their tits and ass. And then Callie gets that look where she's like, I better go win this bikini contest so I can get fuckboy Greg's approval. Girl, come on, man. And then we get this big, fake-tittied blonde girl. She starts dancing on the stage, shaking everything and looking right into the camera, too. Very bizarre sort of scene. I mean, I understand it. It's kind of this guy's shtick, is, you know. But, yeah. Back with Roger, he's there with an old man whom I assume is his lawyer or something, and it gives the advice, deny, 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 and then, like, to throw some money around to find some dirt on Dr. Sexy to see if they can get her to shut up. I don't exactly know who this guy was. I'm not sure if they even said. I'm assuming he was a lawyer or something along those lines. Or he's like the shadow runner of this company and he's just a shady son of a bitch. I don't know. Callie leaves the restaurant all upset, and so she goes to the beach looking at the necklace that Greg gave her, and then Tyler comes and apologizes. And this scene is like a fucking soap opera. So when Callie was on stage, she looks over at the booth, and fucking Tyler and Greg are just sitting there like macking out like fucking crazy. Like, so fucking disrespectful, you stupid fuck. And like, fuck you, Greg. Like, you knew why you were here. Don't play stupid. I know you're stupid, but like, come on. Oh, good God. So yeah, their interaction is very much like a soap opera. He only came for me. Not true. You always get what you want. Like, good God, we went from sleaze to cheese, like, really fucking fast here. Like, 0 seconds. Callie then says she wishes she was dead, and the shark obliges and gobbles her up on the beach. And Tyler screams, and the shark gobbles her up too. So they're all dead. I thought, like, one of these two were going to survive longer, which then just makes me question, like, why the fuck were we Oh, bathing suit, bikini babe. Oh, that's why we were following these two. Okay, never mind. All right, we're good. Dr. Sexy shows up at the bar and meets Skipper Chuck to rent his boat for the next morning, and he agrees, and then we get just some more of the bikini girls up on the stage, and the winner is announced. Wowee! I don't remember exactly who it was. Oh, we actually find out later, I think, because they're doing like a photo shoot later on. We'll get to that in a second. Greg shows up for lifeguard duty, and he spots the necklace on the ground, and the shark comes up and fucks Greg up. So not even Greg is making it. All of them are dead. There's no lifeguards left. The beaches are fucked. Roger ends up getting the information he wanted on Kat, aka Dr. Sexy, and even says at one point he wishes he had a mustache to twirl so he could do like his little evil plan thing. So dumb. Just so dumb and unnecessary, but it made me stop and laugh to like take notes for that. So I guess I'll let that one slide because it did kind of get me. On the boat with Kat and Chuck, they look at some fish finder thing and notice there's no sea life whatsoever showing up. And other boats in the area are saying the same thing over the radio. They spot the shark on the fish finder and realize it's circling a nearby boat, which doesn't respond on the radio because of the fucking signal interference. Kat and Chuck see the fin, and Kat tells Chuck to kill the radio, and Chuck takes his sweet fucking time doing this, but then he finally does, and then the shark swims off. So SuperShark doesn't think radios are super. Not one bite. Oh, all right, I'm sorry. Dynamite Stevens on the radio tells us about the Bikini Babes doing a photo shoot, which I mentioned earlier, and runner-up and Bikini Queen are taking silly beach photos on the beach, and then the photographer at one point tries to get them to kiss, but they don't fall for it. Silly predatory photographer. Look at you trying. Oh. The girls start freaking out once they see the shark fin, and the photographer is like, oh, sharks can't come on land. So naturally, he's eaten while on land, and so are the Bikini Babes. And again, these are very quick asylum cuts. We get a decent look at the shark and whatnot. Again, CGI is decent. The Bikini Babes try to fight off the shark with no avail. They just get fucked up pretty easily here. So yeah. At Rogers, he confronts Dr. Sexy with the dirt he found on her, and apparently she's on a personal vendetta against oil rigs or oil companies, and she's actually been fired from the OIB, but she still has dirt on him, so he tries to bribe her and tells her he truly believes he didn't destroy the rig, so obviously now she believes in fucking SuperShark. She tells him he's technically right. The chemical polluted the water and set the shark free, which is what sunk his rig. And she then thanks him for the money, and then she goes to the bar. Chuck shows up at the bar, and Dr. Sexy is just completely shit-faced. So he gets her some coffee, and then she comes clean and says she was fired and shows him a picture of her brother Jimmy, who's dead. Anyone want to guess how he died? Oil rig accident. And then sharks got him. So this is like a double fucking whammy for her. She hates oil companies and sharks. That's too many things to hate at once. Oh my goodness. And she says sharks are just like oil companies, mindless eating machines. Not really true. I guess in SuperShark's case, that is the case. But the sharks that would have killed her brother wouldn't have been like this. This just would have been like a kind of a freak accident, more or less. But anyways, I guess we're not here to talk about the realism of the fucking shark behavior in SuperShark. Because science talk is not super. That's a lie. You should always listen to science talk. Not always, sometimes. Sometimes. I totally forgot where, where I was. I don't know what is happening right now. Oh yeah, so Chuck gets Dr. Sexy some coffee, and then she comes clean about her brother and all that. So she's on this vendetta, and she has nothing to lose at this point, and then she just passes out. Chuck looks over at the TV, and the reporter is telling about reports of a giant shark that can walk on land, and then this reporter goes, oh, and another thing, it's as big as a whale. I think she just thought that she was in a porn parody, because that's the way that she acted this line, this news reporter. I understand if it was trying to be funny, but the way it was delivered, it just made her sound dumb, like she was a bad actor. I'm not really sure, but it just came off as really dumb and weird to me, but that's just me. I'm a little dumb and weird, so yeah. Oh, it's also coming up on 4th of July, because of course it is. At some airbase, the dude in charge sees the pictures of the shark that some recon plane took, and he goes to Captain Brody, Jaws reference, and says it like 3 times, and he asks him to get some planes in the air. Sorry, he says Captain Brody 3 times, like very much like Jaws reference, and like the whole 4th of July thing. So we got our Jaws references in here. This one, I guess, is not as egregious as some of the other ones, so I'll let it slide. But again, I'm tired of seeing it in every shark. I guess it's not every, in a lot of shark movies. I'll say that. Dr. Sexy wakes up on Chuck's boat after her drunken stupor, and then she remembers her briefcase finally. So this whole time, like, she was getting like shit-faced drunk. She totally forgot like that the suitcase was around, because in the bar she was barely paying attention to it. Like, I would have like hit it in the hotel room first, maybe, if you're planning on getting completely shit-faced, like, so you don't lose it, which is what almost happened, but... And Chuck tells her that he peeked inside and couldn't help it and says, like, yeah, that's a lot of money. She tells him what it is, what it's for, but they need to tell someone about the shark. And they hear on the radio the area is now in a state of emergency, and she turns the radio off and leaves because she's scared of the shark coming. And now we're back at the beach from the beginning of the movie, which I read in the trivia on IMDb is actually from Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus. I haven't seen that one yet, so I can't confirm if that's true, especially from IMDb now. Like, there's just so much trash fucking trivia on there sometimes. I remember the early days before, I'm going to sound like a total fucking hipster, but like before IMDb was really popular, and they didn't even have like every movie on that database. They had a lot, but not all of them. The trivia was very informative and seemed to align with like actual facts and not just dumb opinions sometimes or just complete bullshit. I really wish they would police that a little bit more, because it's kind of stupid, but I don't really see a reason why this one would be a lie, because the Asylum or any movie like this would of course reuse footage, so I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably true, and if I remember that when I do eventually review that movie, I'll try to remember that. Dr. Sexy and Chuck show up to the beach, and she tells the man in charge the shark is responding to the radio tower that's nearby. The shark sneaks up behind one of the soldiers and eats him, and then all hell breaks loose. Soldiers start shooting the shark, it starts making its way up the beach, and the army calls in an airstrike, and some other soldiers hit it with a flamethrower and scare it back into the water. The plane comes in and drops its bombs, but the shark isn't hit, and it grabs the plane out of the air. And Kat is like, it can fly. Army dude, well, that's not good. Like, yeah, in the plot description it says it can fly. It's not really flying. It breached the water really high. I wouldn't say that it can fucking fly, but... Because if you wanted to say this shark could fly, you should have shown that a lot fucking more. But you use this for one scene. That's... I don't know. I guess if I want my flying shark fix, I can watch Sky Sharks again, which is a movie I think I forgot to mention in like one of my favorite movies when I did the 2023 year in review, which is crazy, because that was definitely one of my favorites. Fucking Sky Sharks. Yeah, buddy. Fuck me. Where was I? Kat tells a senator and army officials her theories on the shark being prehistoric, and the radio transmissions attracting it, and how it sends out its own radio signals, all that fucking bullshit. The senator asks, can it fly? And she answers with a fucking straight face and says, yes, it's SuperShark. Why? Where did this name come from? Like, you're just saying this like it's like the scientific name for this fucking shark. Oh, yeah, it's SuperShark. This reminds me of another movie from the Asylum called Piranhaconda. So Piranhaconda was a movie I watched with my buddy and Patreon subscriber, Artie's Angels. So, as I've mentioned before, like, he's the buddy that we always watch, like, terrible movies when we get together. And Piranhaconda was one of the very first ones that we started watching when we reconnected. And there's literally a scene in the movie where they're talking about this giant snake, which is what it is. It's a giant fucking snake. And they're like, oh, it's like the next step in evolution. And then one of the characters just out of fucking nowhere says, Piranhaconda. What the fuck is that based off of? Like, what? What? Like, there was no, like, scientific jargon to even fucking explain that, as far as I remember. It was just like, yep, Piranhaconda. It's like, because that's the name of the movie. You fucking have that in there. Holy fuck. Anyways, The army dude says he has something that'll tear right through SuperShark, but he can't tell them what it is because it's classified. But he'll see them at the beach tomorrow. Pretty sure at this point, in reality, they'd be done with these two, with fucking Chuck and Dr. Sexy. And the army would be like, all right, well, get out. like, because like when the meeting is over, the army dude dismisses everyone. But I don't think he has that authority over everyone in that room. I don't know. That seems weird to me. I don't understand that, because why? It doesn't matter. Why am I thinking so hard about this? Jesus Christ. I don't even think I thought of this hard about it when I actually watched the fucking thing. Oh, again, it's been a weird week. Chuck and Kat talk at the bar and speculate using poison or a bomb to attack the shark from the inside. And then she kisses Chuck, and then they're all like lovey-dovey now. I guess they sort of built up to this a little bit with their interactions when they first met and whatnot. I can sort of actually see this. It's not like that out of nowhere, I guess. I'll let it slide. I'm gonna let this one slide. Now we're back at the beach with the army dudes, and this is like the beginning part of the movie, which I think they still intercut footage for like the last beach scene, but like this is the beginning of the movie pretty much. And Kat and Chuck unload a big speaker to listen to the radio on as like an early detection system. So if they hear the radio start to crackle, then it'll alert everyone to know that the shark is nearby. And Dog Tank is up and about now. They turn the radio on, and Kat asks the army dude to set an explosive device like on top of this giant speaker. Then Dynamite Stevens starts broadcasting, attracting the shark. After a while, the radio starts to go static, and they spot the shark. Dog Tank and Shark fight on the beach, and they try to lure it to the speakers. So it's just a CGI fucking mess. I mean, it's kind of like all of DC's like recent DCU movies with like a massive CGI fucking shit fest at the end. It's pretty much like that. Dog Tank, Shark fighting, but it's fun. It is pretty fucking fun. The shark bites one of Dog Tank's legs off, and the tank explodes for reasons. I don't know why biting its leg off would cause it to explode. But, you know, he's SuperShark, right? He's SuperShark. Maybe it's because of the signals that are coming from his head. The signals are causing things to ignite and happen. Yes. Army dude tries to blow the speaker as the shark passes, but the signal won't go through. So he's trying to set it off with a fucking remote, but the shark interrupts signals. Why they didn't think of that ahead of time and just had like a fucking hardwire or something? Oh no. Fuck me. Why would the army think ahead or anything like that? Kat runs to the speaker and grabs the C4, and the shark goes after her, and Chuck comes to her, rescues her, and tells her to run. And he manages to like dodge the shark's attacks, like kind of distracted a little bit for her. But then the shark starts following Kat again, and she leads it into a cave. She says, "Open up for mommy," throws the C4 in its mouth, and says, "Now you're extinct," and sets the bomb off. So she had like 2 one-liners like fucking back to back. And I don't know how I feel about them, but it is still, in the moment, it was pretty fucking funny, I guess. But yeah, so the shark explodes in CGI glory, of course, and Kat emerges from this fucking cave just covered in blood and guts. How she's even still alive is a fucking wonder, but she actually can't fucking hear anything. And then like they do the thing because she finds Chuck, and they do the thing where like he's talking but she can't hear him, and it's funny, and they just go back and forth, and then ah, fuck, who cares? But yeah, that's pretty much it. That the wicked awesome theme song starts playing, and we fucking roll credits. So, wow. We definitely got some sleaze and cheese. That was fucking accomplished. I will say the CGI shark wasn't terrible. At times it looked worse than others, but overall, it was decent for what it was. I didn't mind it. From the guy who did Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers, though, and movies of that caliber, I was really hoping for some practical effects or like at least more gore. But I guess if your specialty is low budget, then, you know, all the CGI is the way to go and save money. So I think that's something to keep in mind. But I still feel like it's a thing a lot of movies are missing now. Like, especially when you have this opportunity to have so much gore, and everybody seems to waste it when it comes to shark movies. I don't quite understand it. I haven't seen a lot of gore in one in a long time. Gotta fix that, fucking filmmakers. If you don't mind, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, but honestly, overall, this was a really fun fucking movie. I'm gonna go with, I was gonna say 2.5 stars on Letterboxd, but it was really fun. I'm gonna go for the 3. It's really fucking fun. It's stupid. It kind of feels like a little bit of a throwback to, like, you know, those exploitation movies, even though it does still feel modern. But I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, that's it for SuperShark. And if you're feeling super, please leave a like, 5-star review, a rating, anything of that matter. You know, it really helps out the show. As always, you can follow me on all social medias, Bucket of Chum Podcast. You want to support the podcast? Go over to patreon.com/bucketofchum and sign up for the $2 Canadian a month tier. And yeah, you get exclusive episodes and all kinds of other shit. But I'll see you guys next time for an all-new episode of Bucket of Chum.